Indicators of a global network. There is a common brand name, logo. There is common control or management, technology, audit methodologies, quality controls, staff resources, cost sharing, or they are jointly delivering services. So these are indicators where the institute has a leeway that they can catch hold of someone and say that you are actually operating as a global network, whereas you have not registered one with the institute. What are permitted collaboration activities is, once you enter into this framework, you can have a technology sharing with a foreign or overseas entity, you can have knowledge exchange, you can have resource pooling, joint assignments, so on and so forth. The regulatory philosophy, as we're all aware, is that ICAI wants to set up a Big Four coming out of India. Naturally, there was up till now only two ways to do it. I do a practicing CA firm here and I set up a proxy entity outside India, which resembles my name. So ABC and Co मेरी firm का नाम है, ABC advisory करके मैंने कुछ दुबई में register कर लिया, for example. That was how everything was being operated so far. Now it gives you the permission of officially getting these people under a network. So अगर आपकी उधर कोई audit firm है in the UAE, you can get them as a part of your global network and you can operate accordingly. Again, as I told you in the last session, sir had asked a doubt that they have mandatorily appointed a nodal officer, and that nodal officer is responsible to ensure that there has been no other non-compliances from an ICAI or a CA Act Code of Ethics guidelines perspective. And Section 144 restriction still remains. One of the entities cannot be a management consulting services provider with the other entities providing stat audit services. So that still remains. So this is if you go through these guidelines, this is just an 8-9 page guideline. This is the first time that something like this has come out from the institute, and this opens a lot of doors for a lot of people. बहुत सारे लोग जो say for example transfer pricing करते हैं, who are dealing with international clients, for them it opens a lot of doors where they can enter into these agreements, which will then help them obviously easily broadcast it to the larger audience, their clients and others, that they have a global network, that they have affiliated offices in XYZ places, जो आज तक सब proxy तरीकों से कर रहे थे. Now you can do it under a proper network guideline. Now this is so far as what the global guidelines are. Now even large CA firms, right? Firms like, you would have heard this quite frequently when it came out, is that three very renowned firms, SS Kothari Mehta, Kirtane Pandit, Guru and Jana, primarily operating out of 3 different geographies, coming together. Their idea also was to come into and establish a Big Four. My question to all the audience here is that these firms who have very well established client bases, revenue sources, अगर उन्हें भी लग रहा है कि ये करना ज़रूरी है, तो आपको क्यों नहीं लग रहा? Is a question I have. See, the form and format we can debate, कि network करना चाहिए, merger करना चाहिए, क्या करना चाहिए. But the essence of that still remains, is that you should go ahead and pick up a growth-oriented approach in whatever extent you think is feasible. And this is just one example. Just in the last month, there were 3 indirect tax CA firms based in Gujarat itself. तो ये तो geography भी नहीं है, ये तो vertical भी अलग नहीं है. They have come together and formed a network. So you understand that people are understanding that you have to explore a larger synergy. Every CA firm, I have spoken to a lot of people, and अगर मैं आपसे भी 2 मिनट अगर honestly बात करूँ, how many of you can say that you have hit a ceiling in terms of what your firm can do in terms of professional services as well as revenue? That you have hit a ceiling, कि यार इससे ऊपर अभी जाना बहुत मुश्किल हो रहा है 2-3 साल से. Anyone open to admit that? Few people, yes. Few people there also, right? My question again is why? Why are we thinking that it is difficult to go beyond that? It is because I would say कि आप जैसे आपके client के business को consult करोगे कि अरे सर आप तो एक product line में ही हो, ये product line तो इतना profitable भी नहीं है, इसके तो receivables भी बहुत late आते हैं. तो अगर कोई आपको आके यही consulting देगा, तब शायद probably आपको समझेगा कि यार मेरे को product line expand करना चाहिए, मेरे को client base expand करना चाहिए. आप किसी को बोलोगे कि यार मैं आज तक मेरा माल मुंबई में ही बेच रहा था, तो कोई भी आएगा बोलेगा यार मुंबई तो एक मार्केट है, तो अहमदाबाद देख बहुत बढ़िया मार्केट है, तो साउथ में जाके देख बहुत अच्छा मार्केट है. यू टेल दैट टू योर क्लाइंट, येस और नो? सो आपको कौन आके बोलना चाहिए ये? इफ यू वांट आई कैन कम एंड टेल यू, बट आपको और कौन आके बोलना चाहिए इज अ क्वेश्चन आई हैव, राइट? सो दिस इज अ सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन. ऐसा नहीं है मेरे सेशन से आप मोटिवेट होकर जाके सोचोगे नेटवर्क बनाना है. आई डोंट एक्सपेक्ट दैट, बट आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू से और पॉइंट यू इनटू अ डायरेक्शन दैट इफ द लार्जर प्लेयर्स आर थिंकिंग ऑफ इट, who are already very capable, have got brilliant resources, brilliant teams, why are we very restricted in our approach to do that? I was in a meeting where the entire Central Council Committee, etc., were there, and they were taking suggestions from people who have formed networks or large networks already. And then one person gave an example. So there were, I think, 50-60 of us who have large firms. उन्होंने एक एग्जाम्पल सिर्फ ये बोला कि सर अगर आपको बिग फोर बनाना है तो आप क्यों बाहर के लोगों का माइंडसेट चेंज करने बैठे हो? आपका नेक्स्ट बिग फोर तो ये रूम से ही आने वाला है. एंड दैट इज व्हेन इट हिट मी दैट ही इज एक्चुअली राइट, दैट स्टैटिस्टिकली द इंडियन बिग फोर विल कम आउट ऑफ दैट रूम. व्हाई? बिकॉज पीपल आउटसाइड आर स्टिल very comfortable, and there is no problem in being comfortable, but then we can't be comfortable and then also complain कि यार अभी तो स्कोप कम हो गया है, यार अभी तो रिसीवेबल्स बहुत पीछे चल रहे हैं, अरे यार अभी तो ये सब बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स है, अभी तो यार स्टाफ नहीं आता है, आर्टिकल नहीं मिलता है, आर्टिकल आता है तो आर्टिकल मेरा इंटरव्यू लेता है. सो नहीं है, दिस इज़ अ रियलिटी. नहीं, मैं भी आर्टिकल्स को इंटरव्यू देता हूँ, बट आई मीन इट्स अ जेन्युइन रियलिटी. सो आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू से, बिकॉज परिणीता जी मैंशन कि यार आप ये सब चीज़ें करो, यू गेट इन अ प्रोफेशनल HR. हम बोलते हैं ना फ्रैक्शनल CFO, फ्रैक्शनल HR ले आइए महीने में 2 बार 3 बार. आई अंडरस्टैंड कॉस्ट इज अ वेरी बिग बर्डन टू टेक फॉर एनी वन, बट इफ 5-10 people come together, cost will not be a very big burden if you want to improve your overall functioning, overall firm, etc. That is there. I will have one more question for everyone. How many of you all have trainings in your office every month? 2 people on every month, or 3 people on every month, or 4 people as I can count. Very basic thing, doesn't cost anything. आप बाहर से तो ट्रेनर नहीं ला रहे हो, आप इन हाउस ही कर रहे हो. बट स्टिल आई एम सेइंग दैट द एटीट्यूड शिफ्ट हैज़ नॉट हैपेंड. और ये आप ट्रेनिंग दोगे वो आपको ही बेनिफिट आने वाला है, मतलब कोई बाहर वाले को बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा. आई एम जस्ट सेइंग दैट देयर हैज़ टू बी अ ड्रास्टिक माइंडसेट शिफ्ट. इंस्टीट्यूट कैन कम आउट विद ग्लोबल नेटवर्किंग गाइडलाइंस और anything else, but if the basic level of thinking is not changing, it is very difficult. I ask to every convener or deputy convener, where are they today? I can't see them, but I ask them every time I go to any session is कि my session is successful if one of you all internally come and say कि नहीं यार हमें ये करना है, हमें merger करना है, हमें network करना है. I went to Vasai Virar, after 2 months their convener told me ऋषभ यार एक बंदे ने किया है. So my point is, at least somebody has started thinking in that direction, whatever that direction is. I went to another study circle and there I found that there are 3 people who were already thinking of it. After the session I finally made up their mind. One of them actually came to me, meet me physically to understand कि कैसे करना है, and 3 of them have formed a network also. So people are taking that step. How far ahead you are? जो मैंने बोला था ना कि आप IPO sole proprietary से नहीं ला सकते, तो अगर आपको IPO नहीं लाना है तब तक ठीक है, बट अगर आपको IPO लाना है then you will have to change the way you are working. Institute has gone on to another level and allowed you to have a mirror CA firm in Gift City to provide services to your foreign clients. You can set up an IFSC unit which is a mirror unit of your current firm. Obviously no formal guidelines have come on this, so I can't comment way more than what is required. But I'm trying to say that the institute is trying to facilitate wherever, however they can. How many members are taking an advantage of that? I'm not very sure still, right? Still, so far, if my numbers are correct, less than 150 networks are established in the country as of now. So we're still a long way to go over there. Now, coming on to a few practical points, I will give you how we have been benefited by this, right? Practical bolunga, to shayad you will be able to relate. And genuinely the key reason why you enter into a network is an overall branding. If you have to be honest, that is the key reason. बाकी सब चीज़ें आप बिना नेटवर्क के भी कर सकते हो, other than branding, right? आज हमारे बीच में क्या झगड़ा होता है कि यार मेरी फर्म का नाम रहेगा या तेरी फर्म का नाम रहेगा. EY कोई जा रहा है आ रहा है तो ये नहीं बोल रहे कि यार मेरी फर्म का नाम भी EY में डालो, नहीं डाल रहे. They've created a brand. Nobody will be able to come and alter the brand anymore. So if you have a vision of creating a brand in whatever and with whoever you want to, after that people will not come and say कि यार आप मेरा भी नाम ऐड करो. I have seen a CA firm change their name 4 times in 4 years. Every time they've added a partner because वो बोले यार मेरे को मेरा भी नाम चाहिए इसमें. I think पता नहीं वो थोड़े टाइम बाद it will be like a 1 minute long name that they'll end up doing. But my idea here is that you want to create a brand, there is a way that you can be able to create it. आज आप कितने भी CFO, CXOs को जानते हो, जिधर you have larger firms as service providers, वो सब बोलते हैं यार मैं परेशान हो गया हूँ इनसे, यार फीस बहुत ज़्यादा है, अटेंशन बहुत कम है, एटसेट्रा है, राइट? बट दे स्टिल गो फॉर देम. वाई? बिकॉज दे कैनॉट कन्विंस देयर बोर्ड दैट देयर इज एनीबडी एल्स क्रेडिबल इनफ. These larger firms have built a credibility around. Right, wrong, good, bad, another topic of discussion. So these people have done that. Have we been able to do that? Not yet. Naturally also, you want to get better, say for example, audits and assurances. आज आप एक level की audits ले रहे हो as a sole proprietor or a firm of 2 or 3 people. You enter into a larger network or merger or a larger setup with multiple geographies. You will be able to go and command better work in the market. Better empanelment opportunities for people who are targeting those lines of service, right? In the banking BFSI area also, सिर्फ bank audits और concurrent audits नहीं है. There is an ASM audit, there is a forensic audit, and then there are multiple other things you can get empaneled with a private bank also. But if you have that larger strength, you will be able to do that. Third most important thing is that it enables specialization. आज सबके पास, how many of us practice in core areas of CA? I don't call it traditional, I will just call it core. Core areas, audit, tax, assurance. Almost all. It is impractical for me to ask you कि आप ये काम छोड़ दो. कोई नहीं छोड़ेगा, right? But अगर मैं आपको बोलूँ कि यार आपको ये 3 में से क्या करना है, तो आप भी दिल पे हाथ रख के बोलोगे यार ये एक चीज़ में अच्छा रेवेन्यू है, मेरी स्पेशलाइजेशन है, सब कुछ है. My genuine request to you is, you find out somebody who will be willing to take the other 2 practice avenues from you at a profit share. दान धर्म में नहीं, at a profit share, somebody who will be able to take up that from you. You get on board with them, get them on as a partner. Quality is a very big challenge. I understand कि client को अभी तक हमने quality दी है, किसी और को देंगे quality hamper हो जाएगी, etc. etc. You give them some work. See if they are delivering, you give them more work. And similarly, if they have a similar load that they can shed off to you, why not do that? And then see things that happen. Once you are able to do that, you are able to attract a staff that is specialized. आज हमारा staff हर महीने कुछ नया काम कर रहा है, right? We cannot expect specialization from them because A, we are not training them, and B, we are giving them 10 things to do. आप एक टीम मेंबर को एक कोर स्पेशलाइजेशन 12 महीने कराइए, I'm telling you, you will be a master at it. And then you can go and command a premium in the market जो आप आज सोच रहे हो कि यार मैं नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. So it will require something that is there. Another question I ask in sessions is, आज आपके पास एक कोई क्लाइंट आया, बोले यार मुझे एक दुकान डालनी है, से फॉर एग्जांपल कपड़ों की दुकान डालनी है, राइट? आप उसको क्या बोलोगे, यार इन्वेस्टमेंट लगेगा आपको 1 करोड़ का तो वर्किंग कैपिटल, 1-2 करोड़ का आपको दुकान खरीदने का, या अगर आप रेंट पे लोगे तो उतना लगेगा, एंड थोड़ा बहुत आपको इन्वेस्टमेंट करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? 2-2.5 करोड़ का आप जनरली बोलोगे कि यार इफ़ यू वांट टू पुट अ स्मॉल 200-250 स्क्वायर फीट शॉप, इतना आपको लगेगा एक बार, करेक्ट? ठीक है. माई क्वेश्चन टू एवरीबडी ओवर हियर इज, व्हाट हैव यू इन्वेस्टेड इन योर प्रैक्टिस? राउंड फिगर ऑफ 0, राइट? आप क्लाइंट को बता सकते हो कि यार ये इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं, क्लाइंट भी टाइम डालता ही है ना यार पैसा डालने के बाद. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि क्लाइंट ने पैसे डाले और बाहर चले गया, वो भी टाइम डाल रहा है, राइट? व्हाट हैव यू इन्वेस्टेड मॉनिटरीली इन योर प्रैक्टिस? फॉर द फर्स्ट 2-3 years डिफिकल्ट फॉर एवरीबडी, आई अंडरस्टैंड. उसके बाद आपने क्या इन्वेस्ट किया? नहीं, हमारा फंडर है यार, जो आया निकालो. दिस इज रियलिटी, राइट? आई एम नॉट सेइंग एनीथिंग एल्स. माई पॉइंट हियर इज, यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग टू बिकम अ बिग 4 or a large firm or whatever setup that is without investing. It's not possible. It's not necessary the investment has to be money. Put resources, put SOPs, do systems, have a learning and development department, have proper things in place. अब उसमें टाइम इन्वेस्ट करो. अभी तो AI आ गया तो ये सब बनाना भी थोड़ा ईजी हो गया. पहले थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट था, लोग जो रिनाउंड या तो इंस्टीट्यूट रिसोर्सेज, BCS रिसोर्सेज से सब बना रहे थे. तो you're on AI, everything is simpler, faster, right? My question to everybody is, you can't expect an unexpected outcome or a more than average outcome if your input is average itself, right? So put some time. I know a lot of people who have come now, वो बोलते हैं यार हमारा इतना प्रॉफिट है, X proportion is set across to develop these things. I will tell you personally, I have 3 developers, coders in my office. You will not find that across a lot of CA firms. We do a lot of tech developments in-house. हम करते रहते हैं. And this was before the AI revolution we started. So I'm just trying to say you have to invest somewhere if you want to be a differentiator. That is reality. That is just showing you a mirror. That is not meant to do anything else. If we want to expect, you know, यार मेरे को Big Four बनना है. Big Four has spent crores of money in training people, right? हम इधर महीने में ट्रेनिंग नहीं कर पा रहे on our topic, जिस पे हम 1 घंटा बात भी कर सकते हैं. It's not possible. So there is a huge gap that we will have to walk if we genuinely want to be in the reckoning that we can provide that much of quality. The only thing we have as an advantage is that I am a CA, I can give a personal time, which say a larger firm का partner एक client पे इतना time नहीं दे सकता है. But that time cannot compensate for other things. That time cannot compensate for your team's quality also. So this is something that is there. Next thing is geographical expansion. We are restricted कि यार हमें इधर ही काम करना है. क्यों? There are practitioners, I am telling you there is a network of practitioners who practice only in income tax. Cases तो सब जगह के आते हैं और faceless में तो अभी आप online भी करते हो जैसे भी है. I know 50 of them have come together and said कि यार हम हमारी specialization identify करेंगे, बाकी काम एक दूसरे को देते रहेंगे. So people are thinking on that level, geographically also. But we are not really there. You want to set up, we've covered global networking guidelines, but if you want to set up something in IFSC, you can explore a partnership with somebody who is physically there. Also, the next thing is cross-selling advantages. What Parinita ji was asking is, how much of your incremental revenue comes from the same client? That can only be there if you are cross-selling them. आप उनके लिए टैक्स लिटिगेशन कर रहे हो, आप बोलो यार इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स का भी लिटिगेशन मुझे करने दो. आप उनके लिए एडवाइजरी कर रहे हो तो आप उनको बोलते हो यार मेरे को आउटसोर्स CFO भी करने दो. So that can come only, again it's an egg and chicken story. आप स्पेशलाइज करोगे तो आप ये कर पाओगे, आप स्पेशलाइज करने के लिए आपको कुछ ना कुछ छोड़ना पड़ेगा. So that is the idea. And naturally everybody here is a financial wizard. It's economies of scale. 5 लोग आके एक अच्छे रिसोर्स को हायर कर पाएंगे जो बेसिक बाकी की चीज़ें IT, HR एटसेट्रा कर पाए. एक अकेले इंसान इतना बर्डन ले नहीं सकता है. वेरी बेसिक इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल. 5 पार्टनर्स कम टुगेदर, सब बोले यार हर महीने मैं ट्रेनिंग दूंगा, आपको साल में 2 ट्रेनिंग देनी है, 3 ट्रेनिंग देनी है. आज आप सोचते हो यार मेरे को 12 देनी पड़ेगी, तो आप दे ही नहीं रहे हो. सो कम टुगेदर इन अ फैशन where you can shed or where you can divide responsibilities. This is how we do it. In our organization, every partner has a specific KRA that we have assigned to him. कि भाई बिजनेस डेवलपमेंट तू देखने वाला है, जो भी अंडर टीम है पूरे साल का ये शेड्यूल होना चाहिए. लर्निंग एंड डेवलपमेंट में 2 पार्टनर है, HR में 1 पार्टनर है, IT का एक दूसरा पार्टनर है. मैं नहीं कर सकता, सब पॉसिबल भी नहीं है. Neither can any of you. But if you have a shared responsibility and a shared goal and a shared cost, naturally आज हम क्यों फुल टाइम HR नहीं रखते? Because it is costly. ऐसा नहीं, हमने कभी सोचा नहीं है. So you look at a way where you can share that cost. It can be a virtual HR. It can be something else. It can be 5 of CA firms sharing an HR together. या आज हम सब अलग अलग ऑफिस में बैठे हैं, आप सब एक ऑफिस में आ जाइए. Today you are having an overhead which remains almost the same if there are 5 offices together or 1 office together. So it just makes commercial wisdom and commercial sense to do that. Now I'll take very 10 minutes of practical questions and then I'll give it to Abhay-ji. Is how are we doing it over here? I'll share just a glimpse of that and then we have a brilliant panel discussion that will answer a lot of questions. सबसे important यही चीज़ है नेटवर्क में, रेवेन्यू कैसे शेयर होता है. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे पैसे की बात तो वही है. हाउ वी डू इट, देर आर अदर पीपल, दे हैव मोडालिटीज. मैं मेरी मोडालिटी में बात कर सकता हूँ, किसी और की मोडालिटी पे नहीं. द आइडिया इज वीव गॉट अ वेरी सिंपल वे ऑफ डूइंग इट. देर इज अ पर्सन हु फाइंड्स द बिजनेस, देर इज अ पर्सन हु एग्जीक्यूट्स द बिजनेस. दिस इज आर सिंपल division that is there. Who finds the business depending upon the type of business that they have given. अगर कोई मेरे लिए ITR लेके आएगा, मैं उसको 30% रेफरल नहीं दे सकता हूँ कि मेरे को 30% तो उसमें छूटेंगे भी नहीं. Right? Somebody gets me hypothetically an IPO client, I can give him some. So we've predefined limits, not to say कि ये this is पत्थर का लकीर. We can change that if we think यार ये client में हमें enter करना है, आज नहीं कमाएंगे बाद में कमाएंगे. So we have a very simple place. Is there is a finder of the business who gets the business. there is a person who is executing it, who is actually putting his team जिसका ये specialization है. And then for audit specifically, we've kept something as a reviewer's fee. Basically, for any audit that we feel is above a certain threshold, review of the second audit partner is mandatory. Act में अगर mandatory है नहीं है is another thing, but we have kept it mandatory just to ensure that the audit quality, NFRA, disciplinary issues, etc., can be kept at bay and audit quality can be improved. So this is how we genuinely do it. हमने पहले वो स्ट्रक्चर सोचा था कि यार सबका रेवेन्यू आएगा, फिर एक X% हम कॉमन पूल में डालेंगे, फिर हमने 6 महीने काम किया और रियलाइज़ किया कि हम पूरे साल भर अकाउंटिंग ही करते रह जाएंगे कि पैसा आया पैसा गया, पैसा आया पैसा गया. सो वी देन सिंप्लीफाइड इट. वी सेड कि रेवेन्यू शेयरिंग इज ऑन दिस and expense sharing is whatever is a gross expense of the network, specifically towards the network, because we are spread across multiple locations, तो location specific expense अलग है, but network के जो भी expenses है, in terms of developing tools and technologies, having a quality control partner, having a BD partner, having an HR person on board, etc. All of those are expenses that we bifurcate into ratios that we have pre-decided. So this is how we are doing it. बहुत सारे लोग करते हैं कि एक common pool बनेगा और खर्चा उसमें से होगा. उसमें प्रॉब्लम मुझे ऐसा लगता है ये होता है कि जो बड़ी फॉर्म है दे आर पेइंग अ लॉट, तो छोटी फॉर्म है प्रॉब्लली दे नॉट पेइंग. फॉर अस वी फाउंड दैट दिस इज अ राइट मिक्स ऑफ डूइंग थिंग्स. ऑब्वियसली नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज असाइनमेंट शेयरिंग या एग्जीक्यूशन कैसे करते हो? काम तो आ गया, करेगा कौन, कैसे होगा? नेचुरली ए, इफ यू हैव अ स्पेशलाइजेशन you have a preference of doing it. B, if it's a geographical play, then whoever is in that geography gets a benefit of it, right? अगर कोई दिल्ली की ऑडिट है तो मुंबई बेस्ड पार्टनर नहीं करेगा, नेचुरली वो दिल्ली बेस्ड पार्टनर ही करेगा. अगर कोई ट्रांसफर प्राइसिंग का काम है तो इंटरनेशनल टैक्स वाला ही करेगा, नेचुरली जीएसटी वाला पार्टनर नहीं करेगा. सो दिस इज हाउ वी हैव सॉर्ट ऑफ इंटरनली सेड दैट दिस इज हाउ बिजनेस विल बी allocated. Bank audits I have already discussed with you. It happens on a firm level, and on a firm level without any independence challenges, you can apply and you can start that work. Next question also is how is a network managed? कि ठीक है आपने बना तो दिया, फिर उसके बाद कैसे काम होता है? तो again what we do here is we have a managing committee of our partners. That managing committee decides things and everyone else follows. Managing committee consists of designated or managing partners from all the firms that are a part of the network. This is how it works for us. For other people, it might work separately. And there is a network agreement and there are network bylaws. Very clearly put. जब हम ये बना रहे थे तब इंस्टीट्यूट ने कोई ड्राफ्ट नहीं दिया था, तो एंड मैं मेरे लीगल वाले को मैं समझाने का कि क्या लिखना चाहिए, बट देन आई रियलाइज उसको भी नहीं समझेगा. So we have drafted an entire network agreement and network bylaws. Typically runs into 50 pages both combined into what we are wanting to do. And that is sort of more or less, आज तक तो कोई हुआ नहीं है query या quarrel over something. That sort of dictates how things go. What is, how do you identify? आपने network तो कर दिया, फिर उसके बाद क्या? The point is, you know a large firm like EY only as EY. आप ये नहीं बोल रहे हो कि यार मैं SRBCC का पार्टनर हूँ. आप क्या बोल रहे हो? मैं EY का पार्टनर हूँ. Why? Because you identified with a brand. So we have a similar philosophy, at least internally, that everybody identifies with the brand itself. You're not identifying individually. You can obviously say that ABC and Co, a member firm of XYZ network. That is definitely allowed. ऐसा नहीं, you have to lose your identity, but the common goal that at least all of us are sharing is to have a single network and consolidate that as a single brand. Now, किसको network बनाना चाहिए? A, जिसको भी पैसे कमाने हैं, obviously. B, anybody that either has a specialization or wants to develop a specialization over time. It's not something that we can get up one day and say, यार कल से मैं specialized हूँ ये चीज़ में. It takes time, it takes energies. But if you want to do a specialization, getting into a network, what happens is today, if I have a specialized partner, he has 25 other partners who are directly giving business to him. So you create an internal referral structure yourself, where in the network अगर कोई भी काम आएगा for a specialization that comes to you itself. And in the era that we are, specialization I think is any which ways the way we have to go. How to brand I've already covered. We brand as a single identity itself. And what steps to take for forming or joining a network? So sir had asked before, I would say that you identify your area. कि यार मेरी ये चीज़ में अच्छी होल्ड है, मेरे को इसमें डेवलप करना है. You identify people who are doing other than that. And आप देखिए कि मैक्सिमम आपको सिनर्जी किसके साथ बैठ रही है, terms of experience, in terms of the quality they are providing. And then you start a discussion that we can enter into a network and then we can go ahead. My genuine request is do not expand for the sake of it. जहाँ आप ये सोच रहे हो कि यार बस वो वोफा वाला हो जाए सिचुएशन, मैं भी ये फर्म का पार्टनर, तू भी ये फर्म का पार्टनर. डू नॉट डू दैट. डू दिस एक्चुअली इफ यू वांट टू डू अ लॉन्ग टर्म सोल्यूशन. अदरवाइज ये ऑन पेपर रह जाएगा, कोई एक्चुअल बेनिफिट अक्रू होगा नहीं. How to scale international practice or cross geography practice for networking? I think abhi to there are global networking guidelines that is sort of answering this question to an extent. But I think from what I know, at least, that the institute also has larger plans for a global networking that they want to get in the near future. So I think opting for that makes a lot more sense. So with this, I think in record time, I finish what I have in my session today. And if there are any questions, I think I just have a couple of minutes max till they set this up to take any questions that you have specifically. Anybody? No, I think so. Sir will ask all the questions now and we'll answer. All right, thank you everyone.
Hello. Thank you, Rishabh sir. I would request now the speaker Parinata ji, please, and Abhay bhai, please share the dais. And I would request Bijal to please give a brief introduction of Abhay sir, the moderator of the day.
I think at BCSC we don't require introduction of Abhay sir otherwise. But just as a formal introduction, I would like to introduce him. So Abhay sir is qualified as BCom, FCA and having DISA qualification as well. He is senior partner at Mehta Chokshi and Shah LLP. With more than 35 years of experience as a chartered accountant, he is providing services as a business advisor, M&A consultant, and for system and process improvement to various legal corporates leading in this area. Also, he is specialized in corporate law, accounting standards, internal and statutory audits, IFC implementation, Ind AS implementation, as well as due diligence and analysis of the company financial. Apart from this, sir is already being a president at Bombay Chartered Accountants Society for the year 21-22, vice president for the year 2021, as well as honorable treasurer and joint secretary before that. Currently, he is chairman of Accounting and Auditing Committee of BCAS, convener of Accounting and Auditing Committee of BCAS even in past during the period 2004 to 2016. He is member of Financial Reporting Review group constituted by FRBB of the ICAI. So I think list goes on and on. Just for paucity of time, I'll welcome sir. Thank you so much for accepting invitation. I'll request Seconder convener to please present the memento to this sir.
A very good evening to all. As an opening remark, I would like to just admit one thing, that there are two youngsters who are teaching us how to scale up the practice. And that is a very encouraging sign that the profession is in the safe hands and they have that passion to be at a level which was unheard of in India earlier. And what is the dream of Modi ji may be coming true through these youngsters. To start with, again, the way they have already taken the session, I had not attended Parinita's session, but she had shared her presentation, so I know what she has dealt with during her presentation. Many of the things have been taken care of while their presentation, but still maybe some questions may be found repetitive, but still for the benefit of the participants, it will be better that in a question answer mode, they give more insights into the questions which I would like to deliberate upon. To start with, what I have done is that I have divided the questions into three parts as they have taken. One was practice growth, second was client development, and third was the networking guidelines. But there are some questions which I would like that they both throw upon some light on through their experience, and so that we are enlightened from their experience for taking this forward and try to gather some courage to try to find out a suitable partner going forward. To start with, in practice growth, as mentioned by Rishabh, firm identity. This becomes what we say a really bigger roadblock when we look at merging with another entity. Most CFMs grow by inertia and not by intention. That's what I have felt. And so on that lines, Parinita and Rishabh, I would like to have a question to both of you. Can you throw some light on how to make a CFM the first choice, not just the familiar choice for its clients?
So I think this question even I had covered, but I had also told that we'll be discussing this point later on, and quite a bit of it Rishabh also covered is unless and until, see, clients want convenience, right? Clients भी बहुत smart होते, they want best opinion plus convenience. Best opinion will come when you have an expertise in a field. But convenience will come when the same expertise can be provided in different domains. Like Rishabh said, we have to have a compilation of different expertise at one place, whatever form it is. That is when the clients give the firm the first choice, right? Because they want the best opinion, they want the best practice, they want the best solution for their problems, and they want कि मुझे सब चीज़ एक जगह पे मिल जाए, right? So either you take this forward through all the aspects like Rishabh mentioned, be it alliance, network, formal partnership, or you can also, if you are a sole proprietorship, you want to stay that way, how about good collaborations? So you collaborate with different experts and bring that into one place, and you give the solution to the clients. That is when your firm becomes like a one-stop solution, and the clients will prefer you over any other CA. अगर आप एक चीज़ में provide नहीं कर पा रहे, उनको solution नहीं दे पा रहे, the client will go to another CA, right? But to stop the clients from doing that, you need to have some kind of a arrangement where you can provide all these solutions to your clients. And I think that is what also Rishabh mentioned.
Sir, I'll tell you, in our firm, we have a saying, is that a client comes because of one partner, but he stays because of the brand. So we believe, naturally, it's obviously we are all in a field where you're professional. If somebody is coming, they will come because of Abhayji's experience, right? They will not come because they've heard of the company. They'll come because of Abhayji. So that is what we believe, that somebody will come in because of Rishabh. But if somebody stays as a client, it's because the brand has ensured that the client has stayed with them or grown with them. Similarly, a lot of clients, in our industry, for example, after reaching a certain point, they're saying, here, we want a better auditor, right? So if the company has grown faster than what your brand has, that obviously is a challenge. So this is my perspective, which we believe internally, is we get a company through a partner, but the company stays only because of us as a brand.
Thanks for the different perspectives. Now I come to the revenue quality. Many a times what happens that revenue, normally CAs become very comfortable if they have a 1 or 2 or 3 good clients. What happens that there is a concentration risk happening now. So normally what happens that 3 to 4 clients which are top clients, they would be generating, for the firm it will be 60 to 70% of the revenue generates from them. So what should be the plan for the day if somebody leaves them? Say they grow bigger, like you mentioned that the audit may not be possible for you. If the clients outgrow the firm and they leave the firm, the mid-sized firm is in doldrums. So what are the steps they should be ensuring to see to it that they go ahead in the curve?
Sir,
You both can deal on this.
Sir, again, we've faced a similar situation a few years back. A major, and everybody does, a major client goes away, creates a lot of other revenue risk, concentration risk on the firm. The idea is, for us at least, was you have to run faster in terms of acquiring clients, in terms of diversifying as a practice. If today I was diversifying in a set practice, that also is a concentration risk. I have said that I'm a specialist of audits of MSMEs, but the government comes up one day and says कि 50 crore के नीचे के turnover की नहीं चाहिए. So that is also a concentration risk. So diversifying both the clients and both the practice avenues, I think is the only way out. And if, for example, audits, any which ways there's a risk because every 5 years, 10 years, it is susceptible to rotation anyway. For the larger clients, if I have to say.
True. Diversification is important. Of course, I've spoken about building an area of expertise, but like Rishabh pointed out and very well that there is a risk in specialization also. So how do you manage that is through diversification in your firm, be it partnership or be it geography also, or expanding even in your area, or bringing in some technology aspect, which again, because technology is one of the reasons where a lot of clients are going. So how do you accept that? How do you inculcate the technology in your practice will also help you not have that risk, and which is why that step that I had mentioned, that you need to break down what percentage of clients do you have currently, where are they coming from, and what is the future aspect. How do they become your target audience is you need to analyze. You need to have those numbers in place. A lot of times you don't even know.
So just one small thing to add is easiest way and most practical ways, say for example, if an ex-person is into audit, right? For that person, from going from an audit to your due diligence is not a very big step. So I cannot expect कि यार audit वाला litigation करने आ जाएगा. So identify these areas, and as a CA, I think the bigger target is identify areas that is not bound by statutory compliance. कि आपको file करना है इसलिए अगर आप हो तो आप naturally risk पे हो. Your sign, I mean, till at least 10 years back, a CA signature was a must on every audit. 4 years down or 3 years down the line, that will not happen. So identify a next area where you can easily diversify without really changing the magnitude of your practice. कि अगर आपने ये किया है और say for example sir is into due diligences, so he knows कि अगर he's done audits, due diligence is not a very big leap to take for his team. So identify areas in that fashion. If somebody, for example, is into taxation, for them into going into tax advisory for transactions is not a very big leap. So I think that is practically possible. Otherwise, I mean, there's a lot of lip service. मैं बोल दूँ कि इसके बाद ये कर लो, वो कर लो, वो होता नहीं है.
Yeah. So here I would like to change my hat to a panelist. I would like to add some value to what we have told over here. I feel that during this 35 years journey which I had, I have found that every 10 years there was a shift in the profession. Means the new area was coming. But that shift has become faster. And since last 15 years, the shift may be 3 to 4 years. There is a new area of practice evolving every 3 to 4 years. Now it is up to us whether we want to grab that opportunity and leap into that area, try to take an expertise in that and lead that from the front. If you are going into a new area, identifying the new area which is upcoming, and if you take that leap immediately, there is always an early mover advantage, and you are stabilizing your professional journey in that new area by the time the others are taking grip of that subject. So that's the way I think the leap should be taken. Identify the new area of practice, be there as an early mover, and try to grab the opportunity to be at a higher level. That's what I will say for the revenue quality to be improving in the firm. For technology part, I would like to have an answer from Parinita. Technology doesn't threaten, I think, CA practices, but it exposes which parts of your work were never truly differentiated. So the AI, when it has come into picture now, tax opinions may be a matter of minutes now. What exactly can a CA bill the clients for, and will they still pay that rate in 3 years, is the question.
Okay, so I think a lot of answers are coming back to the same question is how are you developing your firm? What direction are you developing your firm? And like Rishabh just mentioned that look outside the purview of compliances or where the limits can change anytime, the laws can change anytime. So, you know, like tax, audit, you know, we were also discussing that audit ka bhi, limits will change, audits like Rishabh mentioned and I was reading, Claude is looking into financial services. So, you know, analysis of financial statements or audit hai, there are so many AI tools for audits now. So these aspects or these services will really be taken over by AI. So how will CA grow is one thing that taking forward from the previous question also, when you are expanding into services, see, you have already built a good clientele, जो आपके साथ है, who trust you, there is credibility. Search की, जैसे sir mentioned, कि now what is the next service that is coming up? Why don't you provide that service to the same client? See what kind of new area or expertise or what kind of new challenges that industry or that client might face in the next coming years, and what kind of new services that CA, you know, there is so many opportunities coming up. How can you overlap that challenges that the company or clients might face with the developing new area of practice, and how can you take that opportunity to build your practice around it? So don't focus or don't rely on the compliance base, which is the fact, which is the true picture today. Compliance रहेगा because you need to take a client. अब उसको develop करने के लिए you need to get more different kind of areas. And don't be afraid of AI. Like Rishabh mentioned, you have to take forward AI in your firm itself. You need to adopt AI in your firm and see how can you use AI to give better quality services to your to your clients. And आप और क्या products develop कर सकते हो that can help your clients also, not even for your own self. There are so many firms today, they are developing products for their clients. So how can you take AI into your firm and develop those kind of productize your services? That is where you actually make money.
Just one small thing to add here is, there is obviously a threat, but there is a brilliant opportunity. I'll tell you, we are into one of our practice lines is consulting companies for an IPO, right? I did not have the bandwidth to have very expensive equity research analysts with me. I don't have that monetary bandwidth. I have AI with me today. They are doing 80 to 90% of work what they were doing. Obviously, it can't replace skills, acumen, industry knowledge, etc. But at least 80 to 90% of what they can do is something that we are able to do. So the opportunity here is, if you want to develop something, you take AI along.
Correct.
Very true. In fact, technology is the great partner for us. Instead of investing in manpower, invest in technology. That will give you greater results going forward, I think. And now coming to the talent, again from technology to talent, we have to look at talent anyhow, because humans will be required, they are not redundant yet. For a knowledge firm, retaining talent is growth strategy. And firms that can't answer this keep training competitors. So, Parinita, the best article clerk just cleared the CA exam. What does the firm should offer that will make him stay beyond a salary increment?
Okay, so I'll give you a very recent example of one of the firms that we are working with. So we also help CA firms structure their whole, functioning, how to set the KRAs and KPIs for their teams, and how to develop the trainings and how to manage the whole processes in the firm. And when we were doing this for a firm which had 300 plus members around India, they had around 11 offices. The first question I asked is, what is the process when exactly that sir said ki CA, he's just completed his CA, what is his next step? How do you make sure that the article which has just become a CA stays with you? What is your process? And just yes, we offer him, but that same salary, the CTC will be higher somewhere else with better opportunities. But what are you doing? And one of the things, like I questioned even during my session, is what are your goals? Because what happens is a person, especially this is because we are talking about articles, and this is something research that I was reading. Gen Zs today, we'll call the articles Gen Zs. Gen Zs today stay with a company only if they are motivated to stay. Money is not a factor for them anymore. Motivation will come only when they feel being a part of the firm. And how do you make a person feel part of the firm is when you make that person feel the part of your growth story. So are you sharing your goals? Are you sharing the vision of the firm with even that article or CA? That today the firm is standing here, in the next 3-5 years the firm will go here, and you have to be this part of the growth journey, and this is the growth journey for you also. So you give the growth journey for firm, you give the growth journey for the article, you show what value can the article, the CA will add to the firm, and what is it the firm is giving back in the terms of not even money, but in the terms of training, in the terms of designation, in the terms of recognition. What are you giving back to the CA? That is what helps that person be motivated to stay there. So training, process, structure becomes a big part of your firm to really establish and to retain those articles, because ये एक बहुत बड़ा challenge है. To retain the good talent is a big challenge. So I think unless and until you make a structure and make that person motivated and feel I am part of this firm's growth journey, that person won't stay.
Very point on. I would like Rishabh to take one question regarding the service mix. As I mentioned earlier, that now the profession is changing every 3 to 4 years. So audit fees are under pressure. GST compliance is commoditizing. So which are the service lines which one should look at going forward in the next financial year?
Sir, I'll tell you, Parinita ji just mentioned a concept which I truly believe is service as a product. You commoditize your entire offering, make it difficult for somebody to choose. कि क्या करना नहीं करना चाहिए, आप उनको ऑप्शन मत दो. Just for example, you create a package out that XYZ compliance at this rate. For a certain volume, ये है. For 2x the volume, ये price है. I'm telling you very honestly, if you start commoditizing, हमारा क्या होता है, हम पूछते हैं कि यार ये कितने transaction है, वो कितने transaction है. We make it a little complicated in terms of decision making. First thing I would say is you commoditize that for whatever is able, whatever you can do. Second, I think going from a compliance-based practice to a transaction-based practice. If you even look internationally, audits were never mandatory below a certain threshold. And I'm talking about all evolved markets. आप UK देखिए, US देखिए, किधर भी देखिए. Audits below a certain threshold was not mandatory at all, right? So audits is similarly for compliance. Technology is taking up. Now recently they just said that 3B में everything will be hard coded, right? तो 2B और उसका reconciliation ही नहीं होगा. आपको figure दिख रहा है, आपको submit button press करना है. Obviously there will be some practical challenges. So you identify certain transactional issues, litigations hai, there is an M&A that is happening, and you provide services around those transactions. Why I like to do that is because whatever is a tangible value you're adding is seen. You're not a cost center. It is not that हाँ audit fees इसको भी इतनी देनी है, इसको भी इतनी देनी है, तो cheaper वाले को दे देगा वो. But if you're entering into a transaction with a certain importance, there he will not be miserly in terms of what he's paying you, and there you can bring your specialization on board. So for me, two things. For things that are repetitive, you make it into a product, offer service as a product, and ship it out. And if it is a specialized service, you go towards transactions and you be towards transactions. That is where whatever you're adding will add the most value, and your specialization will come out.
Thank you. And I would like to add upon, there are new areas, streams of practice which are coming up. Like some years back, it was India's stabilized, but now the IPO market is booming. So look at the restatement of the financials from the India's perspective, because that your natural corollary that you are knowing India's, then restatement is the next step. Even when you are looking at audits, now there is BRSR, ESG. So BRSR has been commoditized at present, but going forward, it looks that there is a bright future for BRSR and ESG reporting, because there is BRSR core which is coming, then there is what you can say, the clients who are demanding that you give a sustainability certificates, because when you are exporting, the European market is very tough for ESG. So these are the areas where one should look at for expanding our services and trying to build up some scale over there also. Now coming to the succession and collaboration. For a small-sized firm, partner or proprietor steps away for a vacation, say for 2-3 months. Would his practice shrink or collapse? What does that answer tell about firm building versus self-employment? Both, I will write from both of you.
Sir, in terms of succession, I am a successor myself. So there is a bit of irony in my answer itself. But jokes apart, sir, everybody has been at that phase, and we also have been. If I am not available in the office for 2 weeks, things collapse. This is undeniable truth, and everybody has faced that or still face it. The idea what we did is we've genuinely outsourced a lot of things. जो हमारी नई specialization है, we've gotten it outsourced to people. हम HR नहीं manage कर पाते, हम outsource कर देते हैं. That takes a lot of our unnecessary administrative pressure on. What is my core service is something that I will have to provide irrespectively, right? And second, that we have genuinely focused a lot is in developing our learning and development vertical. So हमारे इधर principle है कि अगर कोई audit का बंदा है, वो taxation भी attend करेगा, वो Ind AS भी attend करेगा, और वो कोई भलता ही topic हो gift city में, वो भी attend करेगा. I'll tell you, sir, there is a very large CS firm, a practical case study. They invited me to speak on forensic audit in related parties. और मैंने सिर्फ उनको casually, and they're very dear friends, मैंने उनको casually पूछा, मैं बोला, ये आप कर क्यों रहे हो? बोले, यार जब मेरी टीम अगर secretarial audit देखती है ना, उसको पता होना चाहिए क्या क्या fraud हो रहा है. So that is when I realized that people are thinking on that angle. So for us, L&D is our basic and most important thing, is that आप कोई भी vertical में हो, if there is any training that is happening, virtually the entire Indian offices are virtually there, you have to be a part of it. And because of that, we have seen that because of my absence, the collapse is less. Obviously, sir, as practice grows and as money grows, you have to create a second layer, third layer. बोलने के लिए बहुत easy है कि 3 लोगों को hire करो, but that takes a strain on the practice. It's a gradual thing. As your practice grows, have a number 2, have a number 3 ready.
But that's what I always say, that I am also from a mid-sized firm. Gradually I am trying to expand. But the mindset what we have to look at is that gross is equal to net should not be there.
I agree, sir.
Because then only you invest in manpower, you invest in technology, then only we will be able to scale up and have the second line where I can enjoy my life to the hilt.
Definitely.
So I'll just add here because again this is one of the recent conversations that I had with one of our CA partner, managing partner. So he he posed one question that यार clients ना हमसे ही बात करते, कुछ भी छोटा भी doubt होता है तो even if my team is managing the this thing, वो कॉल मुझे आता है कि यार इसमें ये नहीं हुआ या ये मेरे को डाउट है, ये है. Clients के call, why is it coming to you? If your team is managing, why are the calls coming to you for any doubts, any clarification, any opinion seeked? Because this is, and especially this happens in the small firms and the mid-sized firms. Because now the partner or the person, the CA has to build that trust between the clients and the team that don't worry, the team is good enough, professional enough to manage all your doubts. इसके बाद भी कुछ हुआ तो of course I am there, but the first line of contact is not me but my team. I have made sure with my company, the client never calls me. The client will first call my team who is managing. If still the doubt remains or especially there is some issue, then the person will come to me. Otherwise my team is proficient enough to manage, and that confidence has to build by you. You need to convey to the client कि भाई ये हमारा SOP है, मुझे मत call करो, team manage करती है, उसको call करो. You have to build that trust. And when that happens, अगर आप छुट्टी पे भी हो ना 2-3 हफ्ता, तो आपका business collapse नहीं होगा. Because your team, you are managing the team, you are building the trust, the client will not mistrust your team, and that your work will smoothen out.
Thanks. So it's the team building which is critical for that.
Very important.
Now coming to the client development part. Parinita, I will pose this question to you. Normally what happens when a client faces a major decision like a merger, a fundraise, a restructuring, does he calls his CA first or only after calling his banker and lawyer? How to build such trust and what is the roadmap?
Okay. I think this is where your value added services or your proactiveness comes into picture. Some of the questions that I had asked, how many times are you talking to your clients? Is it only during the service or the audit season? Or are you generally, like even one of the sir there had mentioned that he regularly goes through the financial statements of the firm, of his clients, and he also checks into what is happening in the market, and then proactively आप उसको reach out करके बोलते हो कि this is the opportunity that you have in the industry, या these are your challenges जो मैं currently देख सकता हूँ, and this is how you can manage. जैसे सर ने भी बोला कि अगर जैसे एक तरफ तो होता है कि client is approaching to you, or you approach to the client कि these are the gaps that I see. When you show that proactiveness कि if I'm managing only your audit, but in spite of audit, I'm only managing audit, but there are 10 different things I'm suggesting you, it's only then with your proactiveness nature will the client, even if it's merger, like sir said, merger hai ya aisa kuch situation hai, instead of the banker or lawyer or whoever, the merchant banker, whatever it is, he will first approach you, consult you, आपका वो expertise है नहीं है, that you can then outsource or do whatever, but at least he will come and seek out to you कि these are my plans. Okay, one question जैसे मैं I tell my clients, how many times have you asked your client what is your goal? 3 साल बाद आपके कंपनी को आपको कहाँ पहुँचाना है, उसमें मैं कहाँ value add कर सकता हूँ, how can I help you grow and become that, achieve that number that you've thought in 3-5 years. You don't ask that goal because you again, like I said, service mindset है, तो हमें अपना काम खत्म करना है and हो गया.
Yeah, so it is the business mindset which we have to have of what the client will be looking at from.
Yeah.
Now, Rishabh, now we know that there is an startup ecosystem is already there. There is also family business transitions are happening, and MSMEs are also formalizing and trying to come with a growth story. So in that mid-sized firm position to be relevant, what should be the opportunities they look at?
Sir, I think mid-sized firms are best best placed to cater to this requirement, because the larger firms will not get into this in reality, or the larger top 50 firms will not get into it. So I think, and what happens is our business is such, it is difficult to land a client, but वो client 20 साल 25 साल तक अपना CA नहीं बदलेगा, वो घर 4 बार बदल देगा, but CA उसका वही रहता है. So that is a reality. So with formalization of the economy, what happens is, if we are adept enough, अगर उनको से hypothetically fund raise करना है, SME IPO लाना है, कुछ भी करना है, whatever is the evolving growth system that is coming, I think we are best placed, even if it is a startup or an early stage startup, a mid-sized CA firm can come into a role of a fractional CFO, virtual CFO for that company. So the opportunities for us are the best there, because the larger people will not get into this. They have their hands full with other things. So naturally has opened up a lot of avenues for us in that way.
Yeah, in fact, I have observed that most of the young chartered accountants who are into practice now, they have grabbed this market very well, and they are really growing well. So it is up to us that we also should look at such areas and try to build the scale. Coming to visibility and branding, Parinita, when a prospective client Googles CA firm for FEMA advisory or transfer pricing consulting, Mumbai, how a firm should ensure that its name is ahead of the competition and not just on Google but in some other ways of creating visibility?
So this is where content marketing comes into picture. How Google works is very simple. How much times have you spoken about that? Say, for example, sir is talking about FEMA. How many times have you spoken about FEMA on different platforms? The more number of times you're using those keywords, FEMA, in say, and Google catches from all the platforms, even if it's LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, your blogs, website blogs, your guest blogs, jahan pe bhi aapne likha ho. But if your name is appearing with that keywords, the Google will catch, and that is when your visibility increases. Okay? So the main thing first here is you have to identify that area that you want to speak upon and start contributing the knowledge you have gained for so many years. Average यहाँ पे we have seen is 20-25 years of expertise. So take that knowledge, take whatever you have experienced and start writing about it on different platforms. Or to keep it very simple, choose one platform, be consistent on it, and be consistent on the type of topics that you are sharing on. Your name will definitely appear, and like I said, visibility and the remembrance, the recall, if you have a certain specialization, is much higher than a general practitioner. So people will remember you and visibility will increase.
Thanks. Coming to client experience, I would like to pose to both of you. Many times what happens when client leaves the firm, we are ignoring the further action. So what should be the approach to ensure that there are learnings for the firm for the future for client retention? When he is leaving, what should be the approach of the firm?
Sir, I'll tell you, not very ideal, but I'll tell you what our approach is. हम client को जाने ही नहीं देते. मतलब if we understand that somebody is on their way out, the partners will go and personally meet them. Luckily that has not happened recently in the last 4-5 years, but उसके पहले जब भी होता था, and generally matters are resolved. मतलब उनको ऐसा लगता है that probably the attention they were looking for in terms of handling their business was not given. People were not, उनको expectation थी. So ये challenge, this is the only practical challenge I have faced why people have wanted to leave, and the learning that we took from that is to set client expectations extremely correctly. That is the only learning I have taken. अगर हम compliance के लिए भी किसी को onboard करते हैं तो उसको compliance calendar भेज देते हैं कि अब ये डेट पे ये चीज़ें दे दो. कितनी बार क्या होता है, क्लाइंट आएगा 10 तारीख को और बोलेगा 11 तारीख को GSTR 1 फाइल करो. इट्स नॉट दैट, CAs फिर भी करेंगे. वी स्टे ओवरनाइट टू इंश्योर दैट द क्लाइंट डजंट डिफॉल्ट, but at least his expectations are set right in terms of what we are wanting to deliver. एंड उसमें एक बहुत ये भी चीज़ आ जाती है, देन दे डू नॉट कीप हैरेसिंग अस फॉर समथिंग. उनको भी समझ जाता है उनका स्कोप ये है. आई हैव सीन पर्सनली सर दैट even large firms do not really have proper engagement letters given out. I'll be very honest. बहुत haphazard है, email पे quotation भेजा, quotation accept हो गया, काम चालू हो गया. These are places of friction that we can create. We give them a very genuine thing. For example, if we are doing a service hypothetically like a due diligence, we'll give them a draft report, obviously names redacted, that this is more or less what the output looks like. So when a client is seeing that, he knows beforehand. ऐसा वो बाद में आके नहीं बोल सकता यार मैं तो ये एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा था आपने ये दिया. So I have in my personal experience, obviously it's not a very large experience, is that client expectation mismatch has been the only challenge, and our only learning is communicate with them very clearly about their expectations, our expectations, and whatever we are delivering. And we have seen that that is more or less resolved. But हमारा principle ऐसा है कि हमें कभी भी लगता है तो हम धरना देते हैं उनके ऑफिस में और हम उनको कैसे भी करके रिटेन करते हैं.
True. With client expectation, which is again very, very important, setting the client expectation right at the start is very important. Give them a proper roadmap. कि this is what is expected. This is my scope of work. That आपका scope of work क्या है और आपका deliverables क्या है? Keep it very clear. But also keep a very, very consistent line of communication. Call them up every few months or whatever your engagement is. Make sure that you are constantly in touch. Even if you don't talk for a long time, just a general hi, hello, how is it going, any gaps by my team, any feedback, how can I help you? Just simple questions also makes the client feel connected कि okay, you are not out of the picture. अभी टीम संभाल रहा है, आप गायब हो गए, वैसा नहीं है. So make sure that because the client is coming to you because of your name. टीम काम कर रहा है ठीक है, बट आपके वजह से आया आपके पास. तो अगर आप ही गायब हो जाओगे तो client doesn't like, and like Rishabh said कि कितने बार क्या होता है, I am not important for the person. इस सीए के लिए तो मैं important नहीं हूँ तो मैं क्यों रहूँ. इस काफ़ी बार challenge. So be in touch, set the expectations right, and अगर जा रहा है तो ठीक है, मतलब that happens in service industry. I think 5% to 10% शायद होता है, client जाते हैं for some reason or the other. You just learn and make sure the team is learning with you as to why they are going. It's not a learning only for you, but also for the team.
Sir, what we have done for your last question and this one is हमने ना बहुत लोगों से बात की थी to understand कि यार ये challenge, because as you grow ये challenge आता ही है. My attention to my older clients is probably lesser now than before. सर हमने लोगों से सीखा और मेरे को एक दो लोगों ने सिखाया ऐसा कि ऋषभ तुम एक RM बेस्ड अप्रोच रखो. बैंक का एक रिलेशनशिप मैनेजर होता है, क्रेडिट कार्ड चाहिए रिलेशनशिप मैनेजर देगा, होम लोन चाहिए रिलेशनशिप मैनेजर देगा. सो यू कॉल इट अ स्पॉक, यू कॉल इट एन RM और हाउएवर यू लुक एट इट. तो हमने वी हैव एंश्योर्ड कि हम हर क्लाइंट पे एक ऐसे पर्सन को मैप करते हैं, उसको भले ही कोई भी प्रॉब्लम हो, जो दैट पर्सन डज नॉट रियली नो अबाउट इट, उसको नहीं पता है कि यार GST में ये क्या करना है, बट एटलीस्ट फॉर द क्लाइंट इफ़ यू हैव वन सिंगल RM असाइंड, उसको ये नहीं लगेगा कि वो इग्नोर्ड है. ऑल्सो अबाउट योर प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन कि कैसे हम उनको अपसेल करें, उसको कोई भी क्वेरी होगी वो उसको पूछेगा कि यार आपको पता है वो भले मेरा ऑडिट क्लाइंट है, डेट कैसे लूँ, डेट मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा. सो दैट approach we have tried only in the last 2.5 years to be honest, but I think that has given us excellent results, and no client is at least coming with a feedback yaar Rishabh to baat nahi kar raha hai. At least they are taken care of, which is obviously important in a professional service.
True, and this kind of a setup, I won't take the name, but we are working currently with a good CA firm, very renowned, and they have this strategy, and this strategy again they use for helping the client be in touch, and second for upselling. So that RM is constantly in touch with the client to understand अभी आप business में क्या चल रहा है, आगे future में क्या होने वाला है, आपके क्या challenges है. They are on their feet and constantly asking questions and being in touch with the client to upsell. नया हम business वो client से कैसे लेके आ सकते हैं. So that's good point.
I would like to share one experience over here. I do accept that there are clients who move out from us. So that is the most upsetting thing which happens in a firm. So whenever a client goes away, I will not defend myself or my team when he's going away. But after he goes away, post-evaluation has to be there with the team members who had been on that client. And we should understand that what were the lacunas or the laggings that our team has, because of which he was not satisfied. And try to improve upon that so that the second time such mistake doesn't happen in the firm. That's the approach one should have, I suppose. Lastly, about the fee strategy now. How should the fees be charged? Is it on the value delivered or on the hours spent? And which of the two will the client actually consider? Rishabh, I will like you to have this.
Sir, I mean, there's no one single answer, but I'll try to say my 2 words about it. Sir, naturally, if it is a transactional assignment, where there is a fundraise that is happening, and when there is something involved, the problem is that our firms look at it from a man-hour basis. Typical CA firms, कि यार मेरा इतना man-hour जाएगा, मुझे इतने में करना है, सब उस हिसाब से quotations देते हैं. My genuine idea is that on a transaction, there should be a value-added basis. Clearly communicate to the client कि हम ये value आपको deliver करेंगे. In whatever reason, if it's an investment banking, obviously value तो आपको percentage terms में मिलती है, but even otherwise in terms of support services. When it is compliance, I try to explain to the client, not my manpower's done, what is the manpower I'm saving from him if he had to do it himself. अगर उसको आज खुद को बैठ के accounting करनी होती, तो उसका क्या cost लगता, I try to find a value in that. अगर वो आज accountant रख रहा है और उसको 40,000 रुपए लगेंगे, तो मुझे 40 तो नहीं देगा, उसे 30 देगा, 25 देगा. And then I have to match it with my own cost.
My own cost.
If my cost plus my
Margin.
whatever is a margin markup and overheads is sufficed, then I will do that. Otherwise not. So I look at it more from a client angle कि यार अगर इतना पैसा बच रहा है तो इतना मांगना फिर तो justified है. Obviously there is always undercutting, underselling, but that I think will never go. So we have to stick to our guns.
Yeah. Bang on, I think that when you are giving a value-add service, then you have to look at how much value you are rendering to the client. And at that point in time, mind well that once you have quoted a lump sum figure, you have to honor that commitment. Because many a times you may overshoot the number of hours which you have predicted for that client. But then that adds the validity, what you can say, the stickiness with the client. Now I will move to the networking guidelines, and majority, I think you have very well explained many of the things, so you may be very brief also, not an issue. Compliance related thing which you have talked about the forms AGN, BGN.
Yeah.
So will a firm sharing branding, quality controls or referral arrangements with any other firm, domestic or overseas, considered to be part of a network under the 2025 guidelines?
Yes. So the idea is any firm that is looking at who are legally not a network, legally not associated, but sharing a same branding and sharing all of these associations, they will be deemed to be a network as per the global networking guidelines.
Now there is always this question about Big Four and averseness of the mid-sized firms with the Big Fours. So the Big Four will operate in India under the same name, regulatory framework as small and mid-sized firms. So I suppose first time the rules are the same. Now will Indian CA firms be able to convert this level playing field into market share? And if yes, then what should be the approach?
So for the first time, they have been brought under a regulation. So that is a landmark achievement in itself, because this has been under the works for decades, if I have to be honest. Is this a level playing field for Indian firms at this moment? As good as yes. Do we have the mindset, capability and intent to convert that level playing field into something is individually upon everyone that is there. So there is a huge opportunity. I am telling you with my personal experience, we have been speaking to few international network firms who are looking into an India entry. So आप simply सोचिए कि अगर आपको अगर एक geography में जाना है, आप किसके पास जाएंगे? एक बंदा जो एक सिटी में प्रेजेंट है या एक बंदा जो 11, 12, 15 सिटी में प्रेजेंट है जिसका टीम साइज बड़ा है? You will naturally go with somebody who has a larger presence, right? So a lot of international service providers are looking to come to India. They may also be looking to set up a liaison office in India, back office in India. There is a concept, I don't know how many are reading, it's called a micro GCC. GCC in itself is a large enterprise, a micro GCC. So a lot of these international professional firms are looking at setting up micro GCCs here. So these are things that we get advantage under the network guidelines also, and otherwise also, which I think, see, if you're ready, I was telling in the session कि our service profession in general is an egg and chicken story. It's कि धंधा पहले आएगा या टीम पहले आएगी, और वो हम उसमें ही ग्रो होते रहते हैं. थोड़ा धंधा आता है, फिर थोड़ी टीम आती है, फिर धंधा आता है, फिर टीम आती है, so on and so forth. So if you are ready for it, I think there has never been a better time to go global or to tie up globally.
Now looking at a firm which is now specializing, say, in pharma sector or a BFSI sector or any other sector, do you feel they have a natural advantage for cross-border work, and how such firms should approach for an international alliance?
100% they have a benefit for cross-border transactions because of the experience they are already possessing and the industry they are already dealing. I will tell you a personal experience. I was in London, at our London office. I met up with one of the practicing firms there. He's a CA from India, set up based there, who is only auditing Indian subsidiaries based in the UK out of his connects that are there. So you don't need guidelines for this, but there is a natural benefit that you can create out of that. He moved out of here, and obviously he's making a lot of money and all of that is separate, but he identified a very clear opportunity जो बहुत obvious है. Sometimes the solution doesn't have to be complicated. Solutions are very simple. So anyone who's dealing into this, as I was saying, if you're into international taxation, tie up with somebody who's into FEMA, tie up with somebody who's into IFSC. ये natural alliance है. You can frame it under a network, you can operate without it, but there is a very good synergy that can be explored. And then, you know, why I'm continuously saying, if you, sir might be very aware, is that legal firms have taken a very good amount of business in terms of due diligences, transaction advisory, that is gone. Why are they doing it? Because उनके पास वो पूरा gamut एक transaction पे पूरा hold है. So that is something I think we are, मैं बता दूंगा कि tax implication क्या है, but मैं FEMA implication नहीं बताऊंगा. तो कैसे होगा? Somebody wants to raise funds from a foreign office or a foreign investor. If you only know कि ये valuation ये आता है, but आपको नहीं पता कि वो पैसा कैसे आ सकता है, कैसे justified, it doesn't make sense. So if you look at holding a transaction together or aligning with people who are in the same domain, I think natural synergy, you can do it through a networking guideline, or you can simply just do it without it.
In fact, when you talked about the law firms, the roadmap is already clear for our multidisciplinary firms. It is only the legal fraternity which is resisting it. Otherwise, all other professions are onboarded. So the day will, that's the best way in which the profession will go forward, through multidisciplinary firms, because we cannot have, now the expectations of the clients are not only finance and accounts, they want technical expertise also, they want the marketing expertise also through one firm itself, consulting. So when we are looking at growing into consulting, then it has to be a multidisciplinary firm approach, which will be not far off once the legal fraternity is onboarded. And I was talking to some senior political person, and he was telling that we are hell-bound to and see to it that the legal fraternity also comes on board. So once that happens, then the day is not far that multidisciplinary firm will be the order of the day. Lastly, I will like to conclude over here, because other two questions which I was looking at have already been taken in the presentation itself. Regarding the brand identity, that also you touched upon, but I would like to deliberate, because that is the core resistance, I will say, of a firm merging. There is always an affinity for the firm's name. Should a firm give up its name to adopt a network brand, and whether it will be a gain or loss with its existing clients if it went ahead with the decision? I will like both of you to answer this question.
So the idea, as I told you, is if you're forming a network as against a merger. In a merger, you have to give up a name or combine a name, for example. in a network you are still allowed to say ABC and Co, which is a member firm of PQR, for example, right? You retain your identity while trying to create a brand. Obviously, somebody will have to take a risk to create something. If you look at the legacy of big 4 firms and big 6 firms, so the legacy is more than 100 years old, right? So they have put in that much of time. आप उनकी कभी merger timelines देखेंगे, you will come to know कितने merger demerger हुए हैं. So that legacy is something they have also been through. If we want to attempt, we will also have to go through. There is no single way to answer this, but if you want to grow and if your vision is aligned, you have to become part of a bigger group. And if you are very satisfied with what you have, or if you have individually created a brand, then you get people under the same brand. If your firm has a brand, I'm sure everybody will want to join because you've already created a goodwill over these years. So it's not necessary that you may have to convert. You can get people who are starting. I'll give you a very small example. There was a dear friend of mine. उसको ऐसा था यार ऋषभ मेरे को बैंक ऑडिट ही करना है. बोला यार क्या है इतना 10 साल लगते हैं रैंकिंग में ऊपर जाने में, स्कोर चेंज कर दिया तो 15 साल हो जाता है. नहीं यार मेरे को करना ही है, मुझे ये काम अच्छा लगता है. तो मैंने उसको बोला यार फिर क्या कर रहा है. बोल रहा है मैं ऐसी कोई फॉर्म देख रहा हूँ जिसका पूरा लेगेसी है, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली सम पार्टनर हैज मूव्ड आउट जो ये कर रहा था और सब. एंड ही वेंट अहेड एंड ही फाउंड समवन हु वाज डूइंग इट. In the second year of his joining, they were appointed central stat auditors for a large public bank. So my point is वो बंदे को opportunity पता थी कि यार नेम गया साइड पे, काम चाहिए और पैसा चाहिए तो ये ऐसे मिलेगा. अगर आपके पास if that is your goal, the way is clear. अगर वो नहीं भी है तो you try creating your own brand. There is no harm. There is nothing wrong about me trying to create a Rishabh Jain and Co. But you should know कि अगर मैं ये करने जाऊँ तो 15 साल लगाऊँ, इससे अच्छा तो यार दूसरे नाम के साथ अगर मैं 2 साल में पहुँच जाऊँ. And the profession, as you told, is changing not every 10 years but every 2 years. So might as well do that. So it's an assessment a person should make. बाकी branding के लिए better person to answer is not me. And Parinita ji here.
Your take on this?
You've built a very good brand. I was in a meeting which was organized by a CA firm where a lot of, I think 35 CAs had gathered. And the idea was ki how can CA community come together and build a Indian Big Four. And you know, there was a question posed ki how many of you are ready to give up their name to create a Big Four or you know a firm. Only 1 or 2 people raised their hand. I think that is one of the things that we are so attached with our own names and emotional value hai of course. Ki I don't want to give up my name. So that is your own choice, of course, that's very personal. But if we are looking at growth, you have to think beyond the name. Okay. And second, Joe sir asked about why are people reluctant to join networks ya to fir partnership. Trust is one of that issue. And see, risk hai. Partnerships टूटेंगे, बनेंगे, partners आएंगे, जाएंगे, that risk will always be there. But इतना जो trust का issue है that you know how can I trust this person in a network? What if that person will take up that work behind the back of network and वो अपना काम कर लेगा? These things will happen, might happen. You never know. You don't have a hold on it. All you can do is have that trust, build that you know, comfort with the partner also or that firm also, that the firm trusts the network. So this is a give and take relation. You can't only expect the person to give back to the network. You have to build that trust, you have to build that comfort level with the whole network. So trust and giving up the name. I think this is something that I've seen is one of the biggest challenges when we talk about networking or any kind of collaboration, even at the partner level. जब तक ये mindset change नहीं होगा, it is very difficult to build a brand. So if you are looking, and if we as a community are even getting into the conversation that we want a Indian Big Four, the trust thing, the ego thing, and giving up the name, I think हमें इस topic से ऊपर आना पड़ेगा.
So thanks both of you for giving great insights into the practice management and the client development part and the networking. I have been through this journey and looking at exciting times ahead also, though I am of age now, but still looking for more years to serve the profession and take the legacy forward. And I wish you both all the best for your future. And all the participants over here also, let us introspect in ourselves and try to build some legacy along with some other like-minded, trustworthy person. Because trust, as she mentioned, is of core importance when you try to come along with somebody else in a partnership or in a network arrangement. So trust and giving up the name, these two should be the criteria on which you have to deal and look at growing your presence and the legacy. Thank you very much for this opportunity for moderating.
Thank you very much, Parinita Madam and Rishabh Jain, for a wonderful presentation today. Parinita Madam has covered the topic of branding, network, how to develop our practice, how to market ourselves ethically, and what to do, what not to do. On the all aspects, she have covered very brilliantly. She has advised us how to way away ahead for development of our practice. Then Rishabh Jain, who has covered the topic of networking, which is the now real thrust of the practice, because now without networking, without developing the firms, it will be difficult to provide service to our clients. So on these aspects, I thank both the speakers for their wonderful presentation. And the next, Abhay Bhai, our senior members, he has covered the topic in a very detailed manner. He has taken out the questions very brilliantly and has helped us to gain the answers of which come up our mind in developing our practice, in developing our networks. So with that question answers, we have gained a lot of knowledge, so which help us to way ahead, like Rishabh has said, that in his previous sessions, he is motivated that at least one or two peoples or networks come up from the meetings. So I hope these sessions will help our members to go ahead and make a new networks. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. One group photo.